All right, folks. It seems like I've been doing these about once a week. We've got another head coach fired, and this one affects the Tennessee Vols significantly. Our next opponent happens to be Arkansas. Both have an off week or a bye week, but then, of course, we're playing Arkansas at Neyland. That's the team that got us last year, although it didn't keep us out of the playoff. It did cost us home field advantage in the playoff. But, man, I'm telling you, it's getting hot and heavy out here for the coaches. We've already had Foster fired and the Virginia Tech coach fired. Oh, man. Yeah, Sam Pittman, I doubt he'll people have been asking, will he come back to Tennessee? I don't know. What was he, an offensive line coach, wasn't he? Yeah, great offensive line coach. He's not had much success there at Arkansas, and it just kind of is what it is. I'm not a bit surprised after the terrible performance of this team against, well, let me show you, the Notre Dame game. This is what put him out of his misery, I guess you'd say. When you get beat 56-13, and by the way, Notre Dame already had 2 losses, so they were not looking good. And then they just pummeled Arkansas. I mean, it was pitiful. And let's take a look at their numbers because Tennessee's playing them next. They're Talon Green. He was 17 for 32, 200 yards and an interception, so not very good. Look what C.J. Carr did. He just roasted Arkansas's defense. I mean, attacked them. It's just terrible. Let me look at the team stats here. Let's see how they played. Oh, my. They gave up 641 yards, folks. That's insane. And 200 yards on the ground. You do that, and you get pummeled like that, you can, he was already on the verge of losing his job the last couple of years anyway. But that'll hasten it. I'm sure they wanted to wait till the end of the year if they were going to fire him, but they've had Bobby Petrino in the wings for a couple of years now, which I've called him the coach in waiting. And as I've told you folks, it was going to look like this at some point. Yeah, it was only a matter of time. And I think the athletic director told Sam,
just walk away.
Yeah, he definitely walked away. Let's pull up and see all about this. Let me pull up this story. It'll give us a little bit more detail about it on ESPN, the magazine. Let's see. They fired Petrino. You knew he'd immediately go in. They fired Sam Pittman. Let's see. Sunday, parting ways today. He was 32-34 at Arkansas. His SEC record was considerably worse. Petrino, former head coach, he was great at Arkansas. Petrino, they let him go over the motorcycle deal. You remember that? Because I want to thank Coach Pittman for his services, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Overall record, they owe him $9.8 million. So that gives you a pretty good idea of what that's not. I guarantee you Florida'd love to have that. Flo Rida'd love that because they owe, let's see, Billy Napier 19.5. So 9.8 is not that bad in the SEC. That's really, I guess he's only got 2 years left on his contract and probably paying him 75% of what's remaining, I would guess. That's typically how that goes. Let's see here. Any more information? Talks about how, Mike Gundy just got fired, and Sean Foster, Brent Pry. Now that everybody knows what they have to come up with financially, you're seeing a lot more firings. Last year, you didn't see hardly any because everybody was afraid to fire because they didn't know what they were going to have to do. Let's see. As we move forward in the process you've already found your next head coach. No, I don't want to hear that crap. Bobby Petrino is your next coach. Petrino's the same age, 64 basically. Yeah, he can coach for at least 5 years. So that's who they're going to go with. There's, unless he coaches terribly coming in. Now, I'm not thrilled about this as a Tennessee fan I'm not excited for the simple fact that I knew what we were going to be playing against when Arkansas came in here because we could look at the film. Now, Petrino is going to go in there and change a bunch of stuff. So that is aggravating to me, but that's just par for the course. Let's see what y'all are thinking out here. Here's a Bama girl. She said, I wish they'd have held on to him longer. Yeah, here's one. Wish I could get fired and get $9 million. Hey, he's good. They're getting off cheap at $9 million. What was it? Jimbo Fisher got what? $76 million. So that's not too bad. Let's see. Everybody wants to know if Pittman's coming back to Tennessee. If y'all hadn't seen that, he used to coach at Tennessee. I believe he was offensive line coach, as I recall. I doubt it. I don't know. He's 63. If he does come back, it won't be probably for a couple of years. He can go on TV and, do some TV roles, doing a little color for some of these live games. He could probably do that for a while if he felt like it. It's hard to say with him. He's getting up there in age. But Petrino, I think Petrino's been itching to be head coach this entire time. So I've been waiting to see when. I thought it was going to happen last year, honestly. But Tennessee saved Arkansas, Sam Pittman last year. Had we beaten Arkansas, he'd have gotten fired. So, motorcycle. Yeah, definitely. The motorcycle girl theme. In hindsight, they probably should have kept him during all that because look at the disaster it's been for Arkansas ever since then. I mean, they were winning 10 games a year. If you'll remember, they won the Cotton Bowl and some other ones. So, talking about David Sanders. Yeah, David Sanders was super. He was so pumped up to play. I knew he was going to jump off sides. I thought he'd do it the first play, but he did it like the third play. When you see an offensive lineman coming in there that pumped in a pressure-packed situation, he's going to jump off sides. I tell you, Gruden gets popped in there every time there's an opening. You've already got your coach, man. Pigpen, you got your coach. His name is Bobby Petrino. He's had a ton of success there. They brought him in as offensive coordinator because they knew Pittman wasn't going to last. It just took a little longer than expected. But that's a perfect fit for you guys. I mean, what more could you want? He knows how to coach, and he knows how to handle Arkansas. So it's a perfect fit. And he's not too old. Now, he's not had a lot of success since Arkansas. He went to, Louisville, and he coached somewhere else too. Might have been his coordinator, but he didn't have any success at Louisville, which is a little bit surprising. I wonder if the game has passed him by a little bit. That can happen. That can easily happen because football changes. It evolves. So it's hard to say. Yeah, Petrino, he's – I don't know if he was in AD's ear, but I would say the AD was in Petrino's ear. It might have been the other way around. He was like, if I fire him, you're going to take the head coaching job, right? That's the easiest fit. Now, here's the nice thing for the AD. He's going to have something to work with here because there's 8 games left, 7 or 8 games left for Arkansas. So everybody's going to get to see how Petrino does. If he's 500 or better, they'll for sure keep him because let's see what Arkansas has got left in their schedule. Let me pull this up. Take me just a second. My microphone gets in the way where I'd be a lot faster. Let's see what they got here. Arkansas 2025. Let me pull that up. Got to get rid of this one. I'm getting better at live, getting better. I'll get quick over time. All right, let's take a look at their schedule, folks. Right here's what they got left. All right, let me pull it up. Okay. Uh-oh. What the heck happened there? Oh, commercial. Yeah, quite a bit. Of course, you got Tennessee. That's tough at Neyland, Texas A&M, Auburn, Mississippi State. Man, that's brutal. There's 7 games left, and they're all tough as can be. Ooh, that's tough. I don't know. I tell you what, he's being put in a real difficult spot. How many wins are there for you? I don't see you beating Tennessee at Neyland. Texas A&M's number 6 right now. Auburn's got a great defense. Maybe you could beat them. It's at Fayetteville. All those games are, except for the one in Knoxville. All 3 of these are at home. Mississippi State, there's your win, maybe, although they're looking better. And then I'm not – I'll tell you what, folks, if I'm Bobby Petrino, I'm not feeling good about what's remaining. Not at all. Oh, boy. He could go technically 0 for 7 here. Let's say he wins the Mississippi State game and one other. He could go 2 and 5, and then what do you do? What do you do then? That's very – and I'm telling you, that's the thing about those SEC schedules. They start out easy like most teams. Then they're awful after the and next year it's going to be even worse. When we go to 9 games, you think it's tough now. Wait till we play 9 SEC games. So I don't know if Petrino, let's say he goes 1 and 6, 2 and 5. If he goes 3 and 4, they'll hire him for sure. But if he goes 1 and 6, what do you do? Yeah. Well, Pittman, would y'all, what are you going to do if he goes 2 and 5 or 1 and 6? Will y'all hire him? Or are you going to blame, will he be blamed for those losses? That's going to be the tough, because anybody you bring in, I mean, what are they going to do? I mean, really 3 and 4 would be great. You've got top 10 games in there. You got Tennessee at Neyland. That's going to be vicious. And then you've got Texas A&M and Texas, LSU. I wouldn't want that. And Mississippi State is looking good. They're 4-1 and darn near whooped us. That was a brutal game, man. And Coach Levy, those cowbells.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
Oh, yeah. You got cowbell. Of course, I think you're at home on that one. Actually, let me see that if you're back. Oh, you won't have to deal with the cowbell, so you do have that going for you. That's a benefit. That was something. It'd been so long since we played at Mississippi State that the cowbell thing, it just blew my mind. It was awful. My brother was down there, and he said, he put earplugs in. He said they played those cowbells from the time he was down there. He said about an hour before the game until the end of the game, until the end of overtime. He said, if I hadn't had the earplugs, I would have been creaked. He said I couldn't have taken it, which I totally believe. I mean, so. Of course, this would happen right before the Tennessee game. We knew what to expect. The coach would have been under incredible pressure. Everybody'd been down on him. Now we've got the new fresh guy in there, Petrino, and we're not sure what he's going to do. So this makes it – I'll promise you that Heupel wishes they had waited until after the Tennessee game, because now Petrino can throw in some wrinkles that we won't expect. Fortunately, it is at Neyland. If it was Arkansas, I'd be a little bit more worried. At Neyland, we're going to be so fired up. It's going to be crazy, especially after this good start. We're almost 5-0. We're this close, one dadgum field goal away. But that's life of football. We could have lost the Mississippi State game too. So I'm not going to sit here and complain about it. 4-1's not bad. And, of course, we've got several big games. We still got to play Alabama at Alabama. They look great against Georgia. I guess Kalen DeBoer's got them back on track. Got to play Florida at Florida. DJ Lagway, what's happened to him? I mean, he's falling apart. I tell you, I'm not confident that he's going to be quarterback by the time we play Florida, and I'm not confident Billy Napier is going to be head coach. That both could change between now and the Florida game. So, and Florida's got the awful schedule. It's impossible. So I actually thought that Billy might get fired during this off week, but they're going to keep him a little longer, I guess. There's going to be a fight for some good head coaches too, because you've already got UCLA's hunting. Virginia Tech is hunting. Now you've got Arkansas. Well, they're looking and not looking. Florida's going to be looking. Lane Kiffin's phone's going to ring off the hook. I'm sure it already has. If you're UCLA, you had to call him. I'm sure Lane was probably laughed. I'm sure he did. He was like, "Are you kidding? Do you honestly think I'm coming there? You don't have any players." Well, you got Nico. That's you do have one player. Shoo. And then let's see. I guess I'm sure that Beamer has been called by Virginia Tech. Almost certainly. You know he's been called. That's where his daddy coached. But South Carolina won yesterday, and Kentucky. There's another one, Mark Stoops. Will Mark Stoops survive this year? He's owed $30 million. That's his one saving grace. And Kentucky doesn't care enough about football probably to let him go, to pay that kind of money. I mean, they'd let him go if it was under 10. But at 30, why did they sign such a long contract? Oh, is that Texas A&M crap? He went and flirted with Texas A&M, and they gave him the world to stay. Boy, you talking about regretting that move. Although Stoops is pretty up there, and he's said he's not going to coach until he's too old, so he might end up cutting a deal with them. Give me $29 million and I'll quit instead of 30. That'd be about what the deal would be. Let's see what y'all are saying out there. Nico, yeah, I'm glad they got Nico. Let's see, I don't know why you guys had so much trouble with Arkansas. Yeah, there's always a game that gives you trouble. I don't care who you are. I don't care what team you are. There's a game that's going to trip you up. I mean, crap, look at Ohio State last year. They lost to freaking Michigan, and then nobody could stop them after that. It's always a game. Look at Georgia. Georgia can't beat Alabama. They're distraught about it. You know how upset we get when whether it was that Florida streak or the Alabama streak or the Georgia streak, they're totally freaked out about losing to Alabama. And what is it? Kirby Smart is 1-6. No, is he 1-7 now? I think y'all tell me in the comment section. Is Kirby Smart now 1-7 after last night or 1-6? Man, yeah, Kirby should have kicked that field. Well, that's hindsight. If he made it, he almost got the touchdown. So I don't know. 1-7. Yeah, he's 1-7. Charles Todd running for president. You got what? 3 years, Charles. And then you'll be able to run. Alabama, 1-7, yeah. No, I don't think it's 1-8. Caution lap saying 1-8. I think it's 1-7 because I remember them saying 1-6 going into it. Yeah, imagine how they've won 2 natties, but they didn't have to. Well, that's the one time they had one victory, and that was for the natty. So I don't know. It doesn't make any sense that Bama has their number like that. I mean, everybody thought they were going to whoop them this year, especially after the Florida State game. They were laughing at them. That happens, though. I tell you, sometimes you need an embarrassment, especially when you've got 4 and 5 stars. Like Alabama has the top talent of any team in the country. They probably needed that for everybody to horse laugh them, to get those 5 stars to listen to Kalen DeBoer. It's like, look what everybody's doing. They're all horse laughing you. They're all laughing their butts off about how pitiful y'all are and how you got humiliated by FSU. And finally, all of a sudden, those 5 stars are like, oh, crap, we're not getting our props. And now they're showing up and playing. That's a great win at Georgia. I mean, that's a fantastic win. They have not lost there since 2019. That's how good a win that is. So, yeah, well, I mean, they are beatable. FSU showed you that, and so did, well, we beat them last year. They're beatable, but they're playing better. Yeah, Georgia, I thought Georgia would win that game. I picked them, and I gave up the points. I think they were favored by 3.5. If they score that touchdown, and that guy tripped him up, they'd have won by 4, and I'd have won that bet. Although it wasn't a gambling bet. It was just what I picked in my Pick'em series. It's hard to beat Vegas. Very difficult. Kirk Ferentz. Now, I'm trying to remember who he coaches. Who does Kirk coach? Cannot remember. There's going to be a lot of firings this year. So you didn't have many last year, so you're going to have quite a few more. Oh, are y'all keeping up with the Ryder Cup? Looks like U.S. is trying to come back on them. It's close. They're trying to come back on them. Let's see what the score is here. 13.5 to 10.5. They were 7 behind. They're 3 behind now. Yeah, there's only 4 events left though. They got to win. They got to win 3 of them. At least they're making a game out of it, getting everybody fired up out on the course, chanting USA and all that. That's fun for the fans. The Ryder Cup is a unique golf experience. It's rare where you have it's almost like a football game in a way, where you get to cheer for your team. Normally in golf, you're just cheering for the one guy, so it's not crazy. But you start playing for your country, people lose their minds. So, of course, Arkansas would fire the coach right before Tennessee. That irritates me. It's like, why couldn't you just wait until we whoop them and then fire them? So we got a little extra spinach on this one. We got to figure out exactly what Petrino's going to do. We may have to pull out some film on him from what he used to do. We can't lose that game. So we got Arkansas, and then we got plenty left. All right, well, I wanted to come on here, talk about this a little bit, and I'm going to go back and watch a little more of this Ryder Cup, see if we can somehow pull off this miracle. But anyway, I appreciate you showing up. Let me give you one more of Bobby Petrino and what happened. All right. We'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.